Thank you, man. Have a good one. What is up, YouTube? Today we are going to be talking about the top 5 things that I hate most about my Dodge Charger back here. The first one is going to be on the inside related to the screen. So let's get in there. All right, so with this 8.4-inch Uconnect screen, I believe that this problem only happens if you have this screen. Please correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. But basically what is happening is there is a thin layer of glue around the screen from the factory. With the vent here and there and the unit itself getting hot, with the vents there, it makes it even more hotter, and basically that thin layer of glue around the outside starts to melt. When that starts to melt, you get a bubble either up here. For me, it was up here. For some people, it's down here. Regardless of where it's at, the screen will start having ghost touch. Basically what ghost touch is it'll just randomly touch the screen like you touched it, but you didn't even touch it. So it'll change it to track or to custom or to default or to eco, or it'll come down here and just spam navigation a bunch of times. And it's really annoying because you can't use the screen. Eventually, you know, you can sometimes get it to work with your touch, but it'll still move, you know, it'll still touch other places without you even having to touch the screen. Basically, it has a mind of its own. There wasn't really a lot of videos online on how to fix it, and a lot of people that I talked to just told me to take it into Dodge. Well, the problem with that is Dodge wanted like $2,000 just to replace the whole head unit itself. Now, I did fix mine, and there is a video on my page showing how I fixed it, but it was still a big headache. So for me, that would probably be my #1 spot of the first thing that I hate about this car, because it just took so long to figure out and it was a big headache. Now, moving on to #2 is going to be the tires. Let's get back there and check those out. All right, moving on to the tires. So, as everybody may or may not know, this car comes factory with 245, 45 R20s. These are not the factory rim color. I got the blackout package, so these came black. But basically, I don't think that that is nearly enough tire for this car. It comes with those all 4 corners. Now, I know there's going to be people out there telling me, oh, well, you should have just got SRT 392, or I think even the Hellcats come with 275s all the way around. But considering that the SCATPACks have almost every package that the 392 does, I think that they should have optioned maybe, you know, some sort of option for the wheels. Now, me personally, I don't care for them. I like the smaller tire because it allows for more fun. But I do know that there's some people out there that would still wish for a little bit bigger tire, because 500 horsepower almost is quite a lot of horsepower in this rear-wheel drive platform for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a professional driver, but I do kind of know what I'm doing a little bit, and I could see why people would want them. Me personally, I don't care, because it allows for more slip, and to me, more slip is more fun. Now, I know it's a really simple fix. You know, you can just go buy some bigger tires, but a lot of people, they don't have the money for that, you know? It gets expensive, especially these rear-wheel drive cars, you know, doing burnouts and drifting or what have you not, you know, just taking off from lights, etc., going out to track days, you know. Tires add up. So for me, I guess tires would be in the #2 spot. All right, moving on to #3. For me personally, it was extremely difficult to find 5 things wrong with this car or that I hate about this car. I've just been nitpicking at the little things like the tires and the screen, because I couldn't find 5 things wrong with it. But this one right here, at this #3 spot, is probably the absolute worst out of all 5. And that is going to be the attention. The attention that this car gets from police, absolutely terrible. Every encounter I've had with a cop in this car has been really bad. And I've had a lot of sports cars in my age. You know, I'm only in my 20s, but this one right here has been the absolute worst out of all of them. And I know why. It's because these got popular because people were running from the cops and things of that nature a lot. So You know, I see the precautionary measures that they're taking, but if the person's not doing anything wrong in that moment, you know, why be rude? You know, especially if it's a kid like me being respectful. You know, when I get pulled over, I roll down all my windows, turn on all the interior lights, because I do have window tint, and that makes it extremely difficult, especially at night, for them to see in the car. Now, I don't know if it's because of the looks or if it's because it's super loud. I really couldn't tell you, but me personally, I think it's due to the stigma behind these cars. It's terrible. They have a terrible rep. A lot of people just associate these cars with takeovers, which is really sad because that's not what everybody does with them. Me personally, I do drift the car, but I don't do takeovers. I think takeovers take no skill. That's a personal preference. You know, that's just doing donuts. Anybody can do donuts. You can do donuts in a all-wheel drive car if you tried hard enough. Trust me, I have a buddy who did. So at my number 3 spot, it's going to be the attention, and I guess you can say reputation as well. Both terrible. The attention from people is kind of 50-50. Online, a lot of people like to hate. In person, everybody loves the car. I actually just had somebody come up to me, an older gentleman, very nice guy, and talk to me about my wheels while I was shooting this video, which is actually hilarious. So all of the in-person interactions have been great. Online, a lot of people love to hate, and I know that's just online. That's okay. I don't care. So I would say that the reputation for the people, I guess, is about 50-50. The cops, terrible. All right, moving on to the number 4 spot. For me, the number 4 spot is going to be the headlights. I personally like them and I don't like them. It's a love-hate relationship with the lights. They're bright, but they're not bright enough. I have the HID bulbs. I believe that these cars also come with the halogen bulbs as well. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments again. But I live in a pretty rural area. You know, we have some city, as you can see. Out back in the country, it gets pretty dark real fast. If there's no lights or anything around or no cars, the headlights are great. They're pretty bright. The high beams are even brighter. Love the high beams. But the second a car comes, or especially a truck with those really bright lights, terrible. I get blinded, can't see anything, constantly having to keep the windshield clean because, as you know, if you get that little fog on the windshield or whatever, it just makes it worse. So eventually I'll be upgrading to LEDs later on in the future, but as of right now, it is a love-hate relationship with these lights. They're bright, but not bright enough. And recently, I've actually been having a problem with this driver's side light specifically. Now, I do have the Z Automotive Taser, and I do have the light show function mapped to a button on my steering wheel so I can mess with my friends or whatever, and it's only on the front of the car for the light show. Now, I don't know if that is what's causing it, but basically what's happening is this driver's side light turns off randomly. I don't know why. It did it to me last night driving around in the dark with one of my buddies. That one turned off, stayed off. That one was on. I turned off the car, turned back on the car a bunch of times, closed the door, let it sit for a couple minutes because, you know, sometimes it needs to recalibrate or whatever, and nothing. I park it for about 3 hours, come back outside, hit the remote start, it's working. I don't know why. So I really don't know what's going on there. It could be the bulb, it could be the Z Automotive Taser causing it with the light show function. I don't know. At my number 4 spot, it's gonna be the headlights. Moving on. All right, moving on to the number 5 spot for this list. It's gonna be the gas mileage. Now, this one is probably a very common one. I know a lot of people talk about gas mileage in these cars. It's kind of bad. It's not the worst, but it's kind of bad. Mine is 12.2, if you can see that, with 70 miles till empty with half a tank. So that's kind of bad, especially the 70 miles till empty. If you do the math, you know, that's close to 200 miles for a full tank. That's pretty ridiculous. Now, it really depends on how you drive the car. I do a lot of city driving. My drive to work's about 18 minutes. It's not that many miles. And I really just go to work and home during the week. And on the weekends, I drive the car like it should be driven. You know, I'm pretty hard on it. I do take care of it very well, but I do enjoy the car. So that doesn't help my gas mileage either. Now, I know there's going to be some people probably saying, well, if you wanted gas mileage, you should have bought a Prius or something. I knew that the gas mileage was bad buying this car. I factored that into the price of the car, you know, along with maintenance and all this other stuff when I was seeing how much it would cost. So for me, it's not the biggest deal. Now, on the highway, the car gets absolutely amazing gas mileage. I took a trip about a couple hours away, a couple 100 miles away as well, and I made it there in one tank and still had plenty of gas to drive around, and I got 29.9, almost 30 miles per gallon in this car. Now, that was with the 4-cylinder deactivation, the MDS system on most of the time. And that was going over hills and stuff. So, you know, hills factor into, you know, what you're going to get for gas mileage. And I know a lot of people don't like the MDS system, so their gas mileage will be lower. There's a lot of controversy behind it, that it's bad. I have 97,000 miles on this car. I've never had a problem with the MDS system myself. I also take very good care of this car. I do oil changes religiously every 3,000 miles. That's just because I do drive the car hard, not every day, but frequently. You got to let the car stretch its legs every once in a while. So I enjoy the car. I take care of it. You know, I use the MDS system, never had a problem with it. I think as long as you keep fresh oil in there, you're fine. Now, I don't let the car idle very long because the oil pressure is low at idle. It's about 35 to, I want to say 32, maybe is the lowest I've seen. So just for the oil pressure reasons, I don't let it idle. So this is pure gas mileage based on what I do, where I drive, and how I drive. So like I said, I do a lot of city driving in my weekly commute to and from work. The only time I'm really on the highway is for trips, or, you know, me and my friends are going on a cruise. But if we're cruising, I'm probably getting bad gas mileage. So like I said, not a big deal for me. I really don't care that much. But yeah, at my number 5 spot, that'll be it, gas mileage. If you guys enjoyed this video, this is one of my buddies from work right here. Hold on. All right, guys, my bad. One of my acquaintances from work just randomly spotted me and decided to come pull up. But anyways, that is my top 5 list of the things that I either hate or
GPS
dislike.
Connected.
Okay. If you guys agree or disagree with any of these, let me know in the comments. I'm curious to see what your guys' thoughts are. If you guys enjoyed the video and made it this far, please like, comment, and subscribe. And maybe share this video with somebody you know if they're looking at buying one of these cars. Like I said earlier, it was really hard to find 5 things for this car that I hate, because I really don't hate that much. I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching, and as always, drive careful. Deuces.